Shifting our focus toward Chad now, where Boko Haram has launched a deadly attack on the country's military. Around 40 soldiers were killed in an attack on military base located in Chad's Lake region over the weekend. While the perpetrators remain unidentified, the government blamed the Boko Haram for the attack on Sunday. Reports suggest Boko Haram terrorists targeted a garrison housing more than 200 Chadian soldiers in the volatile region. They also seized weapons and burned vehicles equipped with arms. Now, the attack reportedly took place on an island called Boko Haram in the Lake Chad region. The area is close to the border zones of Nigeria and Niger, where Islamist militants are known to operate. Now, the Chadian President, Mahamat Idriss Deby, visited the scene and vowed to launch an operation to track down the assailants.
There has been fighting. Thanks to our brave defense and security forces, the situation is now under control. Unfortunately, we have many martyrs and casualties too. We're going to hunt down every last one of them. We're going to hunt them down wherever they go. We're going to follow them. We're going to pursue them. We're going to eliminate them one by one. In a few days' time, they will see the thunderbolts of the Chadian National Army.
Around 15 opposition parties in Chad demanded that the circumstances in which the onslaught took place be clarified. Now, Max Mkoya, the spokesman of the opposition grouping, GCAP, took to social media to question the government and circumstances that led to the attack. Lake Chad region's countless islets have served as hideouts for jihadist groups such as Boko Haram and its offshoot Islamic State in West Africa, who launch regular attacks on the country's army and civilians. The Lake Chad covers territories in 4 countries, including Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. But what is Boko Haram, and why is it operating in this region? Let's understand. Now, Boko Haram started as an Islamic sectarian movement, which was founded in 2002 by Muhammad Yusuf in northeastern Nigeria. The group's initial proclaimed intent was to uproot the corruption and injustice in Nigeria, which they blame on Western influences. They also want to impose the Sharia or the Islamic law and to establish an Islamic State. The group began an insurgency against the Nigerian government in 2009. In 2015, Boko Haram then pledged allegiance to the ISIL and took the name Islamic State West African Province, or the ISWAP. But later it split, with one faction retaining the name ISWAP and the other faction reverted to the original name. Now, since the beginning of the insurgency, the terror group has been carrying out frequent attacks against security officials and civilians, mass kidnappings, killings, and human rights abuses. Boko Haram has spread from Nigeria to different neighboring countries, including Chad, Niger, northern Cameroon, and Mali. In addition to their individual efforts to tackle Boko Haram, Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, and Benin have together launched a counter-insurgency campaign called the Multinational Joint Task Force, or the MNJTF. The regional forces have aimed at retaking control of several territories from Boko Haram. Now, many other countries, including the US, France, China, and the UK, have also tried to help the Nigerian government to tackle the Boko Haram insurgency. But the conflict has displaced millions of people. The International Office for Migration in June recorded more than 220,000 people being displaced by attacks from armed groups in Lake Chad province. Now, Chad has for a long time suffered from insurgency in its western territories. It is an important ally of the French and the US forces, who are also aiming to fight the jihadists in the Sahel region. The attack over the weekend on the military base was one of the biggest attacks after the Chadian Army suffered major losses in 2020, when around 100 troops died in a raid in the region. The assault had prompted the then-President Idriss Deby Itno, the current president's father, to launch an anti-jihadist offensive. Now, reports suggest that after the offensive, there was relative peace in the region. Schools, mosques and churches had reopened and humanitarian organizations returned to the region. But with the assaults from Boko Haram and its offshoots steadily increasing, it is yet to be seen whether the Chadian government's efforts bring back peace in the region or not.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.